Let's take it back to Japan. And of course, India and the conversations on the geopolitical front between the two there have agreed to deepen partnerships, things like energy, tech, defense, during this visit, of course, of the Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, that first official visit to Delhi. Their meeting does come amid efforts, of course, to reduce their reliance on trade with mainland China.
Japan and India must leverage our respective strengths to become stronger and more prosperous together. In the midst of international affairs in disarray, the establishment of such intercomplementary cooperative relationship has become ever more important.
भारत और जापान दोनों
Both India and Japan understand the importance of economic security and energy security very well, and therefore we have prepared a joint roadmap today for economic security. This will enable us to strengthen supply chain resilience to strategic sectors such as semiconductors, quantum technologies, and advanced materials.
Our politics reporter, Sakura Murakami, joining us right now. Sakura, hi, good morning. Thanks for joining us. So what stood out to you so far in these, between what was announced and what was said so far?
Yeah, so, I mean, this visit is the first visit to New Delhi by Prime Minister Takaichi, and there was a big announcement of a vision last year when Prime Minister Modi visited Japan, that there was a pledge to invest 10 trillion yen over 10 years. So that was pretty big, and this visit comes off the back of that. So no, huge grand announcements this time around, but more of a reaffirmation of ties and just checking in that these investment pledges and the promises to cooperate more deeply are on track. And I would say it's definitely on track. There were 4 joint agreements or joint statements that were announced during the visit. It spans AI, critical minerals, energy, semiconductors, maritime security, you name it. So the breadth and the deepening of relations is definitely on display here.
How do you think this relationship is going to evolve? Because I think the stakes are a bit different for India's perspective versus Japan, right? Japan obviously is trying to reduce its reliance with China, given this sort of political campaign against Takaichi here from Beijing for a few months now. India, though, they're still trying in some ways to seek to stabilize relations with Beijing. So how do you look at the dynamics?
Absolutely. I mean, they're Japan and India are similar in the sense that they do share a border with China. There are shared concerns about the maritime ambitions of China. But then again, the exact dynamics bilaterally with China are very different between the two countries. I would say at this point, maybe Prime Minister Takaichi has more of the interest in deepening relations with India. I spoke to one expert who also saw it as, India is one of the countries that can actually stand up to China, who can actually counter China's growing influence. And there's a lot in it for Japan in terms of building relations with India in that respect. And you can see that in the deepening cooperation in defense. There are joint naval exercises that are going on. There have been an advancement in the talks on developing a co-mast, a integrated mast that would go on a naval ship. And so you can see that deepening of ties. It's a pragmatic sort of deepening for both sides.